Good afternoon all. I hope I am audible to you. So, I came here to prepare one of my medicine, and suddenly yesterday Dr. Swapnil, husband of Dr. Mayura, asked me to talk to you about some of my clinical experience back in Kerala. So basically I am not at all prepared. Even Madam Mayura gave me this dress. I came as a hippie here, so it was not good to come in front of you in that dress. So Madam gave me the dress. So that type of unprepared I am here. But I hope I can share a few of my experiences with you. As you all know, Kerala is a kind of a hub of Ayurveda. And we practice only Ayurveda in an Ayurveda clinic. There is no integration there. We don't even give a painkiller. So we even subside the pain only with Ayurveda medicines. We don't even prescribe a paracetamol, or we won't give a diclofenac. Nothing is there. We only have our own Murivenna, our own Madhma Gulida and things to reduce pain. So I think since she asked me to talk about bandages, I'll just share a few things about bandage. First of all, I am not an academician at all, so I'm not going into the theory part of what is a bandage or the principle behind bandaging or what are different types of bandage. You may be well versed in that. So what I am sharing with you is in Kerala, after most of the joint treatments, even if it is an arthritis or osteoarthritis, tennis elbow or whatever it is, after the treatment, like maybe you are doing the Churna Pinda Swedha, after that also we do a bandage. It is not the Ubanava bandage which normally we does. Like in the textual concept, you can do bandage as an Ubanava bandage where you keep all the medicines and you can wrap it with the leaf and then you bandage. I don't know how you're practicing it here. So for us, bandage has got a different concept. We'll start with tennis elbow. I'll just talk about few bandages, not all the bandage. Like we do bandage for chest, we do bandage for, everywhere. We are totally kind of mummified with bandages. But we'll talk about some small things. So you know what is a tennis elbow. I'm not going into the details of tennis elbow. According to our system, how we practice tennis elbow treatment is either we do Agni Karma, like I think you are also doing Agni Karma for tennis elbow. If it is really inflamed, we do Agni Karma. But after 2 or 3 days of Agni Karma, considering the patient's situation, we start doing bandage over the tennis elbow or the elbow region. It is one thing is to manage the pain at that time, because just because of Agni Karma is a pain relieving thing. It is not a cure. It is kind of an acute management in Ayurveda. You can relieve pain with Agni Karma. You do Agni Karma for sciatica. You do Agni Karma for tennis elbow. You do Agni Karma for your numbness in the fingers. But it is not actually a cure. It just relieves the pain. For a deep-rooted cure, we start doing bandage and therapies. We have our own system of few therapies. Like it is not just Churna Pinda Swedha alone. Do you do lemon kiri and all here? With lime, with egg? Okay, so we leave the kiri aside. It is a vast thing. So after doing kiri, whatever kiri we suggest to the patient, it is different. We have almost 20 types of kiri in Kerala. Kiri is totally, in Kerala. So after considering the patient, we do the local kiri. It's not the full body, just locally we do it. Then we do the bandage. So for a bandage, this is not the cloth we are using. Even though it is a variety of this cloth, our cloth is more porous. It is more breathable. So it doesn't give any bruises. This is more of sticky. once you bandage with this, you may get rashes. So the cloth should be more porous. I'll send a sample of cloth to Dr. Mayura so you can see. Once I'm back in Kerala, I'll courier it. And you cut it according. If it is for elbow, it could be around 3 to 4 inches. But if it is for your abdomen, the width is more. According to the patient and according to the location of the disease, the width always changes. But one thing you have to keep in mind is don't go for too much width. It will be very difficult to bandage. But we bandage the knee, like even though we take small width bandages, some for the certain conditions, knee is bandaged with a 30 centimeter or even bigger cloth. It is just a single bandage. That is a bit more complicated thing. I'll just give you some basic stuffs. So one thing is the cloth is important for a bandage. If you don't get porous cloth, I think the other cloth is better. Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, I'll just remove the mask so I think you can hear me better. I hope you can hear me, right? We'll avoid the mic because it's causing a lot of trouble. So if you don't get the porous cloth, you can go for this. But the problem with this cloth is, after 3 hours or so, if it is a joint, we are human beings and we tend to check if it is ready or not, or is it still, this thing gets expanded and the bandage gets loosened. The bandage won't be proper. See, what all I am telling is just from my practical experience. I don't think you will find everything in the textbooks. So this is from the practical experience. So I have always seen whenever I use this cloth, it just gets ripped off in one day. So it is not that comfortable, but if you don't get the other cloth, this is the best option you can go for. Another thing which you have to take care is, even I think this cloth after washing it will be much better. So for a bandage, the important thing is how you roll it. That is the first step. How you roll it is very important. And if you want to tie, you make we tie it in different ways, but this is the easiest one, which nowadays I don't do, because now we go for complicated things. So this is just a demo. You need a little bit more length for the cloth. Then you have to, this should come inside. This shouldn't go outside, because after wrapping around, this is the last bit which you should get. So while you are rolling the cloth, you need to take the help of one more person. If not, if you are alone, you can tie it to the window pane or something. You just tie it. And while you are rolling this end, you have to keep it like this, because it shouldn't be loose. It should be really a little bit tight. If it is loose, you can't bind. It just spill off from your hand. So, and then you have to roll it. When there are two people, like if you have a therapist and the doctor, you can ask, either you can hold it or you can ask your therapist to hold it. And once we roll it, the other person just move. Yes. So good. I'll call you, so it will be easier. Easier for you to understand.
Can you stand in the eyes?
You want to stand in the eyes?
¿Dónde te puede ir a
do it like this, then only we can hold it. Only through practice you will get this, or else it will be loose. And in between you have to straighten it. See, there should not be any crumples in between. It should be very clean. Our clothes almost stand nice, and sometimes we also wash before bandaging according to the quality of the clothes. Sometimes you can put one, sometimes you have to wash it. You cannot always guarantee the quality of it. Back in clinic, like not only my clinic, most of the clinics in Kerala, whenever the therapists are free, they make these rooms and keep. So we have almost a length and breadth in our mind. Very rarely people other than our calculation come in. So we cut new ones. Or else we roll and keep. Then it's easy for us to take in. It's not that good to make your patient wait and you go and roll that. That's not good. So it's better once you start your clinical practice, it is always good you keep the cloth like this and
Ma'am, you can show on her. He will help you all the time.
so we think if they have got a tennis elbow issue, then only for few patients we do Karma. So back in the area, many people doesn't like Karma because of the marks. You know, after Karma you definitely have the marks. So especially ladies, they don't like the burnt marks. So we rarely do Karma. If we are not doing Karma, we do the appropriate vidhi to the region. After that, so the cotton should not be very thin. It should be slightly thick. Like you shouldn't be as thin. It should be thick. Then only you will get the binding. You know, the principle behind the bandage is that it should stay there, it should bind your joint, it shouldn't move elsewhere. What we do is, we have 2-3 regular using medicines. One is Murivenna. Do you know Murivenna? So our Murivenna will be slightly different from yours. So we have 2-3 types of Murivenna. Then we have Marma Guliga. Have you heard of Marma Guliga? Do you make Marma Guliga here?
ABP suppliers.
So how do you use Marma Guliga? You only for internal use? You don't use it externally? So Marma Guliga is a wonderful external application for everything. For bandages, we put Marma Guliga in egg white. So egg white is the binding agent there. You know, egg white keep it intact. Or else you don't want any jelly thing on your joint. So if it is Marma Guliga we are using for bandage, you should always have to use it in egg white. Another thing with Marmagulika is it is not easy to break it and make it into a paste. So you have to put it in egg white or a little bit of hot water. In our clinic and all, every day morning the first thing the therapist do is he or she will put 3 or 4 Marmagulika in a pot, and whenever the patient comes, we know how the schedule is. So before that, we make it into a paste with egg white. 1 or 2 egg whites will be needed according to the, how many white you get and how big is your Marmagulika. Our Marmagulikas are really big. I haven't seen ADP Marmagulika yet because we mostly source it from, we have this, Vaidyas who are not really BMS people, but they know few these kind of medicines. So I always procure my Marmagulika from them, and that also I will send to. If it is Marmagulika, you apply it. If it is Murigana, you have to slightly warm the oil. Slightly warm the oil and apply it on the cotton. Even after applying Marmagulika, you have to put the cotton, but not this thick. It could be a little more thinner. So we'll see normally where you have the pain. Even though sometimes you have the innocent, the pain will be in different regions. It's not always on the bone itself. So we'll ask the patient where the pain is, where she's having the discomfort. Then you should never keep it straight. Whenever you're bandaging, it should never be straight. It should be slightly flexed, or else the inflammation will increase. Okay, so you just imagine this here. This is slightly tough because there is no oil or there is no medicine inside it. Wherever you are starting, you should start from the middle. Always that is. Then you have to give 2 spirals. There it is. And it's always better to take it from outside to inside than inside to outside. From here to this cloth is not good for the bandage. It is not giving the grip, enough grip. But you can feel the pain. So after that, you have to take it a little bit down. So this is a traditional style only, not the 8 or the 0 or nothing. Then one more you can take down. Then next you can go a bit cross. Will feel discomfort. And never tie it on the pain area. You should always tie it on the opposite side or a little bit down. So when you tie it, you have to give a knot here. I think you want to do the bandage in the similar way. And tie it on the opposite side. We always tie it a little bit down. And one thing you have to check is your little finger should, not that your whole little finger should go, but there should be a slight gap in between, because after bandage, every 3 to 4 hours, we ask them to apply Nirvana through the upper side, so that it doesn't get really dry and it won't dry out. one of the principles I use, let me write. So the thing is, you always should, the first two should be just spiral, then you go for the cross ones. Only after you doing the cross you can keep the joint in place. One of the principles, like I'll tell you why we are doing all these bandages. One thing is always pain is caused by Vada. So Snigda treatment is the best thing for Vada. So once we are keeping the bandage there and after applying Guruvenna, the Snigda is, it is continuously persisting in the joint. Even in a treatment, even in Abhyanga, after you apply it just goes like that. Even if you ask somebody to apply also, it's not that beneficial. But once you do the bandage, it is kind of a piju. Do you do piju here?
Yes.
Yeah, so in piju what we are doing is you are keeping the oil so that it can penetrate inside. Oil have the quality to penetrate. So when you are using medicated oil, the penetration will give you a lot of results. If you are using Guruvenna. With Marma Gulika, our theory is Marma Gulika normally protects your vital marmas, your vital organs. So every joint have marmas. Whatever marma it is, maybe it could be Sati Pranamela or it could be the minor marmas, but you have marmas in most of your joints. So while applying the Marma Gulika, you are kind of protecting your marmas from further damage. Also, the ingredients inside the Marma Gulika helps to relieve the pain. So it is a quick pain relief. You really don't need any painkillers. Another thing is it relieves inflammation also. So bandaging is good to reduce inflammation if done properly. If it is not done properly, it will increase the inflammation. But if it is done in a proper pressure, in the proper, like while I was doing bandage for her, she just kept her hands a little bit straight. So you should always have a check on that. The patient shouldn't keep it straight because at home he'll get more inflammation. It should always be like this. Even if it is angled, it should be like this. You shouldn't keep it like this. It should always be slightly raised. So these are the basics of bandages. So this is what we do for the elbow bandage. I'll show one of the back, like elbow and we'll go for everything. Time for this. Knee. You want knee? I'll show knee then. So you can use Guruvenna, you can use Marmani Gulika, and we even use Chinchadi Tailam. I don't know if you use Chinchadi. Chinchadi is very good to relieve inflammation and it is such a nice painkiller. We never bandage with Karpuradi alone because Karpuram is very ruksham, and if you bandage with Karpuram, the patient will feel very suffocated. So I have experienced all those things. So never do a bandage with Karpuradi. Not good. We also do bandage with drumstick leaves with Saindava in that. Yes, Moringa. Moringa leaves are very good for, it is also an anti-inflammatory thing. And we do the Ubanaha bandage, but for Ubanaha bandage you don't tie it. You just tie it so that it doesn't fall off from the body. I'll show the knee one. We do a knee. Do you see this kind of a knee?
Let us see.
So we give them Purivella so that we can spill it inside the bandage. And since it is for more days, the thickness will also be slightly increased. If they want to take bath, we always ask them to tie it with plastic cover and take bath. So if it is knee, probably you have to slightly flex. You really don't have to do any other treatment for all the ligament issues. Bandage really helps. I'm not having the time to explain all the principles behind it, but it helps a lot. Joint is immobilized. So now I have taken 2 pieces. Always try to take just a single piece. If it is 2 pieces, it always gets displaced. You always have to take a single piece, which should cover the whole knee area. The problem with knee is it is always better to cover the complete knee area, the front portion and the back side. So again with knee also you start from the middle of the joint. So knee joint also you have to give 2 spirals, 2 to 3 spirals, depending upon the joint. Then you go down. Don't go up. You go down, then go upwards. So normally we do 2 spirals in the downside. After that, you take it like this to get the cross. It should be slightly more in width. This is the smaller group. Then you take it here. You don't take it here, you take it as upside. It's already given. Then again you take a cross from behind. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can take a cross behind. So you've got 1 lock here, 1 lock I'm doing it from this side. So we do it in 2 ways. One is we simply do the cross, but sometimes, actually most of the times, we cross it slightly so that the grip will be more. But if you are crossing, you have to be careful. Maybe in the initial time, I don't suggest you to cross, because when you cross, it should never come behind. When you even the slight movement of the knee will cause bruises over the legs. So you always have to put the cross in the side. So we normally put cross in the 4 sides of it. For everything we give 2 spirals. Now I'm not doing it. And the last one will do it. you do the bandage and you can tie it here. It is tightly. You can feel the block. It is unable for them to move the knee joint. So what happened in Ayurveda is, whenever we do the treatment, patient doesn't take proper rest, which is actually a big backlash for us. We can't always admit them, either it will be kind of 14 days treatment or 21 days treatment, or even if it is 7 days, you can always admit a patient inside our clinic. It is not financially viable for them also. So what we can do is, after doing the treatment, if you bandage it like this, they will always have a care for the knee, and even the medicines will be acting on it. Further injury will also be reduced. There won't be further injury actually. Not reduced, there won't be any further injury. I don't know if you have noticed, whenever you have a small injury in one part of the body, you tend to get injury in that part always. So after doing the treatment, your body gets slightly weak. The treatment always makes it slightly weaker. Then only you regain with the rasayana chikitsa after that. You know that better than me. So during the treatment, you always make sure to do the bandage. It will help you. Another thing is, okay, once she goes home with the bandage, and so this is the business side, another person is seeing it, so they are like, oh, these people are doing something. You know, they also tend to come to you. At least they will ask, where did you get it? You know, money also matters, which is a big problem with Ayurveda doctors. We know how much we earn. If it is Kerala or wherever, Kerala, it is very difficult to live because too much Ayurveda doctors, too much of Ayurveda doctors practicing there. And even when you do such a procedure, you can also charge them. You know, rather than doing a consultation and giving a painkiller, I don't know if you give painkillers. For us, the painkiller is only Salati. We don't give any other painkiller there. Maybe we give Amrudottaram. You know, nice Amrudottaram is a very good painkiller. It just reduces the pain and inflammation like that. But do you give Pati Kashayam here? We have a system of Pati Kashayam. Pati is the droni. So Pati is Malayalam for droni. Droni or the massage table. Yeah. So once you do the treatment on the massage table, before the patient leaves out, we give them Kashayam according to the patient. But mostly we give them Gandharva Hastadi Kashayam. You know, it always cleanses the tummy. So our system is that you are bringing all the toxins from the shoulders into the tummy, and from there it has to go out. We do Virejanam also, but this Gandharva Hastadi or whatever it is very important for us. Along with that, we do the bandage. I'll show you the back bandage also. Can you get down please? So with that, there is a problem. It's not like any other joints. One thing is which area is important. If it is towards the coccyx, bandages are very tough to do because it will restrict your vegas. You can't really go to the toilet and things. But if it is on the lumbar, it is more easier. Another thing is, not all back are same. You know, some have the more curvature, some have less curvature. Once you start treating patients, you can see it. For some, the curvature is very much distinct. So if the patient have more curvature, the bandage doesn't stay there because there is a vacuum creating. The bandage doesn't stay. So what we do is, so we take a cloth. Normally it is the Kerala towel for us. So we take the cloth and we make it like this, and according to the height of the patient. For people like me, they can't keep like this because I'm short. So we keep like this. Your curvature is completely covered with the cloth. If it is really a tall person, you have to keep it in the horizontal way. So that depends upon the patient. Maybe if we see another time, I'll be able to this one is no problem. And for doing a back bandage, you should ask the patient to hold the wall, and he should stand like this. You can't do a back bandage while the patient is standing in the perpendicular way, or you can't do a bandage while they are lying down. Even for patients with severe back pain, we always do Dhanyamla Dhara. Dhanyamla Dhara helps to relieve the pain. Once the pain is relieved, at least for that few moments, the patient doesn't feel pain. There will be kind of a numbness. Then we ask them to hold it. She doesn't need this width of cloth. This is a gentleman. No, normally, we get ladies who are above 40 years or even gents, so they will have a big tummy too. So when you tie, the tummy should also be considered. The same kind of bandage we do to reduce tummy. Bandaging doesn't reduce the tummy, but it will reduce the quantity you take in. No, seriously, you can't eat much. Normal bandaging, this cloth is not perfect for her. So the normal bandage we do, and we tie it at this side. Again, if it is towards the end of the lumbar region, we take it inside. Since it is a salva for her, I am not sure we don't know. So what we do is, so after taking 2-3 rounds, we take it through the side. So it will be really tight. It will hold your, even if it is the coccyx, we do this. So what we ask them is, we ask them to go to the toilet and we ask them not to drink water for some time. We try to keep the bandage at least for 6 hours. And then it is, for back bandage, it should be at least 5 meters. This is I think 3 meters. So we need at least 5 to 6 meters. Then again we take another one from here. So it's completely secure. If it is a coccyx, and then we tie it to the side. So this one is. So if it is the lumbar, we keep it here, the medicine and even the claw. But if it is towards the coccyx, we make a piju. The ball piju, the one which we do for female therapies, for that type of ball, but a little more bigger one. Not that is really small one, but this will be a little more bigger one, and we keep it inside. So it will be secured there, and we'll also put a small bandage, the normal bandage, because the position is not really helpful for a bandage, and there is no much treatment for coccyx pain in any other system of medicine. People really suffer with it, especially nowadays due to this long duration of sitting job. So if you can specialize on the coccyx pain, it will be great. Also give some avipatti churnam or according to the condition, give some medicines. The inflammation will reduce, the bandage will give the coccyx a nice support. Within 2 or 3 days, the pain will reduce. After that, you see and you do the bandage with some other oil. No, it's not always Murivana or Marva. These are the first step oils. So later on we change it. Oil also give you the rasayana property. There are oil which reduce, ruksha oils are there. Never do with Kapurati. All other oils you can use. We also put Rasnadi Churna. You know Rasnadi Churna? The word yeah, it is a tradition for us to put it on the head, even from the childhood days. But most of the Kerala houses practice their own Ayurveda. Ayurveda is kind of a part of our life. So we always put it on the head. Every day morning after bath, it is a ritual. The same Rasnadi Churnam, if you can mix with Jambira Swarsa, lime juice, and heat it slightly, it will become a nice paste. If you have all those neck pain or shoulder pain, the pain is concentrated here, even the headache, you can do a lepana with it, and don't bandage, but put a cloth over it. Within half an hour, there is a nice relief of pain. Normally pain is caused by inflammation or the heart inflammation. Either it will be ruksha, vada condition, or it will be inflammation which you can touch and you will know what is the condition. If it is too much of inflammation, you can always go for Rasnadi Churna, especially above shoulders. It helps. You can try it when you get a headache. But it should be in Jambira Swarasa, it should be slightly warm, and you should apply on the temples. Sometimes you get eye pain after looking too much into mobiles or laptop. So if you can apply it over the eyebrows, that helps. You can't take it downwards because Rasnadi is a bit ruksha. So you can just apply it over the eyebrows, and you can close your eyelids with rose water. I don't suggest rose water because it is very cold. It doesn't act. But if you can close your eyes nicely and lie down for some time, for sure it will get relief. So these are some of the few hand things we do back. This is not, all these things are not really the classical textual ones, but these things come under Kerala therapies. So if you have a frozen shoulder, we do lime kidney. So if it is a frozen shoulder, we do lime kidney. Kidney with lemon. You cut lemon into very small pieces. You have to fry it either in neem oil or castor oil. Erandam. You put some saindamam in it, and for a binding agent you can put some churna. We always go for Polaglatadi because like Panchakarma and all is too ruksha. Nimba itself is ruksha, so you really don't have to add more ruksha into it. And you make a potli, dip it in the desired oil, and you give the kiri in the circular. Like in 2 days, the frozen shoulder will reduce. Of course, you have to give Shamana Aushadha along with it. So people always need quick relief. The problem with our Shamana Aushadha is it takes some time. We know it takes some time. So if you know all these kind of small local therapies, within 1 or 2 days the pain will relieve. Then the patient will be ready to take the Shamana Aushadha for so long as you can. I don't know how the condition here in Pune, maybe people are more interested in that. In Kerala, people doesn't take kashaya more. They don't like. We have a strong allopathy tradition on that. Even though all these external things comes from Ayurveda, we take a lot of allopathy medicines from the allopathy doctors. We can't prescribe, they prescribe. So then we do egg kiri. Egg kiri is good for knee ligament issues. You have to reduce the inflammation before all these things. After reducing the inflammation, we do egg kiri in different ways. One thing is you can boil the egg. You can boil the egg and smash it. So mostly it is the yellow part we need for the rasayana thing. But you can't do it along with yellow part. It will be so smelly. Your clinic will be full of the egg yolk smell, and it takes a lot of time to remove it. So you can mix both together, put some ghee in it for a nice smell, and you do with it. After doing the egg kiri, we normally tie it. The ingredients in the kiri is taken out, made into a paste, and with that the bandage is done. Again, it strengthens for the ligament, for the ACL, or even for the patellar dysfunction. Everything, there will be weakness. Vata makes the body weak. So after removing all the amata in the body, the next thing is rasayana. All these are rasayana therapies. Even Yamara is rasayana for us. We don't do it in the first stage. I hope you got some idea about the bandage. I know I'm not really prepared. I don't have a PPT to present. This is just very verbal.
Actually, lumbar site is a little bit different for us.
Sorry?
Bandage for the lumbar site you have shown, it's a little bit different for us.
All other bandages are really similar. Doing bandages, give a bandage if it is a fracture or whatever it is, but never put it too tight. Always try to put some oil or some gulliga into it. Never do a plain bandage. And if the position is not right, you will get pain. Your pain will increase. Don't tell the patient that, oh sorry, the bandage was wrong. Just tell them, oh, this bandage is not suitable.
May I ask something?
Yeah, please.
For how much time the bandage should be there?
So it depends upon the patient. So if you get a contusion, like you hit somewhere. So in Kerala you come directly to the doctor. They don't go to the allopathy person unless it is a fracture. Even fracture we do reduction. I don't do a reduction because you need a lot of strength to do the reduction. So once they come, we'll just check and we'll see. At that time, mostly the inflammation won't be that high if they are coming immediately. So we tie the bandage mostly with marmaguliga and murivenna. We mix and do, like we'll apply the marmaguliga, we'll take murivenna in the cotton and we cover with it, and then we do the bandage. We ask them to come after 1 day. So if I do a bandage today, then I'll do it only day after tomorrow. So tomorrow he is not coming. Such a bandage lasts only for 5 days or so. By the time patient is relieved, you don't do a bandage. But if it is a lumbar or a knee issue, it goes up to 7 to 15, even 21 days bandages I have done.
When it should be removed or replaced again?
We replace it every day.
Every day.
Every day. Because it is not a conducive.